So let's see here. Uh, at DigitalOcean, we have this tool, doctl. It's a command line API or a command line client for our API, and it does a few things. So it has a few functions. You can do things like create droplets, update DNS, add volumes through our new block storage API. You can even SSH to host. But one problem it's always had that's bothered me for over a year is I can't quite get the output to look like I want. So after much thought, and I don't know why I'm doing this on a Saturday night or even recording a video. Maybe I like to hear my voice or something. But what I did is I hacked something called JSONPath into doctl as an experiment. So what does this look like? So as an example, you can do doctl compute region list. And inside of this regions, you can see there's 3 columns. They're just slug, name, and available. And these are pretty much what I guessed, the information that everyone would like to see. But of course, there's other information in here. And one way we can see that is by listing it with JSON. And we can get the full JSON API output. Kind of neat. But here's a problem here. So let's say I want to get all the features. I just want to see a region and I want to see its features. And the reason why is because let's say I'm curious of which regions of DigitalOcean have storage. I know what they are. They're NYC1 and SFO2 currently, but there could be more. What about for droplets? There's other informations like we don't put IPv6 in there by default, and the reason why is just because there's a horizontal width issue, and you can only put so much information there at once. So what are we to do? Well, the first thing that I did was this. So if I do region list -help, you'll notice that you can actually create a format. So if I want to see my region list and I want to show just the slugs, I can just do format slug, and it'll only show me the slug. That's kind of interesting, but I think we can do better. So let's actually move over to another item here, and this is actually pretty simple. We're just going to list sizes, and under sizes we have 6 columns, and there's slug, memory, number, virtual CPUs, the amount of disk in gigabytes, the price monthly, and the price hourly. But what else is in there? Well, I'm sure there's something else in there. Well, let's see. So we have memory as a number, which could be interesting if you're actually trying to calculate the amount of memory that you have in a cluster, because this size object is embedded in your droplets as well. So how can we get this information out? Well, I could hard code and add another format, but I don't really want to do that, because guess what? I don't personally work on the API team, and it changes, and I'm sure that people who work externally to DigitalOcean really don't want to have to deal with that. So what can we do? Well, the simplest thing is we can actually put something in there to allow you to extract arbitrary data out of the JSON without having to use an external tool. So this is only an experiment. It's only like 3 hours of work just to play around with it and see what came out of it. But this is what came out of it. So what we have here, if we notice, is that we have under slug, we actually have a memory, and it's the size is the number. So how would we get this out? Well, what I've done is this. So you have a new output type, and we'll call it JSONPath. If you can type it correctly, JSONPath. And what it's saying is that it's an unknown output type. So what we're going to do is we're going to use my specially compiled binary because I haven't quite released this yet. So now it's saying, well, wait a second, there's an invalid JSONPath query. So what can we do here? So JSONPath requires a query, and you can just search for JSONPath in Google and some neat things will come out. But what you can do with JSONPath is you can actually define queries. So we wanted to actually get out, let's say, memory. I just happen to know that this is in the source as memory. So what happens now here is I can actually query the JSON and I can build out my own output type. So what else can we do? Well, since this is JSONPath now, we can do other interesting things. We can also just add arbitrary text. I have this much memory. And now, look, so imagine you can use this, let's say, if you were building out load balancer strings for droplets, you could actually just put the HA proxy command right there. So actually, doctl could actually generate that. So there's more things in here. If you look at this, so another neat thing is, let me see what this looks like. All right, so we'll get rid of this. You can have multiple, so you can have slug, and we'll put a comma here. And now it's the slug with the amount of memory. There's a lot of more things that JSONPath can do, but this was just a quick exploration of seeing how we can make doctl more dynamic. And this feature, it's not quite baked yet. No, there's things that we need to figure out. But once we get it figured out and we get it documented, it'll be in a release coming out pretty soon. Thanks.